regular season, we had quite the unlucky run for Jarvan versus Rek'Sai matchups. It was about a 0-6 at one point, I believe, and that is going to look to continue here.
Now as we move into the second phase, it looks like the G2 are putting more focus towards the top side of the map. They're going to take the Gangplank away. To me, this does suggest that G2 haven't quite locked in their top laner yet. It is Caps that usually goes towards the Irelia, even though individuals like Frost proclaim that Wunder does come across as the stronger Irelia, and I'm likely to agree. His mechanics and usually the way in which he sets up his stuns is what most impresses me about his Irelia play.
But we need to see where it lands, because there's still a lot on the table, and of course Team Liquid having not, officially shown their solo laners means there's, tools to play with. Nico has been hovered, and we've seen Nico showing up a little more frequently, as has Kennen. Kennen banned away now from Impact. He's played that twice this tournament, and Team Liquid 1 ban left to go.
Yeah, they're trying to whittle away down their options. I do expect G2 to lock in their marksman first here, so they can retain the flexibility of Irelia and not show either solo lane position until the very last pick. So Team Liquid are also trying to whittle down on the possible options for PerkZ, taking out that Draven.
And I love the Nico ban came through because Team Liquid are very aware that it could go into the bottom lane, so G2 are answering with a potentially very safe bottom half of the map. Ezreal, Tahm Kench, one of the safest bot lanes in the current map.
And when people have been looking at these two teams, they're like, okay, well, Team Liquid's way to win is through the bottom side. G2 drafted the safest bottom lane possible here with Ezreal and Tahm Kench, so they can allow Jankos to help out Wunder and Caps, get these solo lanes off to a good start, and find victory that way.
And of course, as Team Liquid enter this final phase of picks, LeBlanc now locked in, so this will give Caps the option to run something into it, and Impact will likely lock in this Vladimir, so some scaling options as well, and now it's up to G2 to reply.
Now, the last time that these two teams did meet, it was Wunder that took the Vladimir into Team Liquid, and they answered by taking the Aatrox, which is where we saw Impact get that kill, which ultimately did trade in a 1-for-1, but we saw Impact applying a lot of pressure in that matchup towards the top side.
And now that we do see the full lineups here, I really want to see more work from Xmithie and Jensen together. They have the Jarvan and LeBlanc combination playing into a Corki, which is a very standard counter to LeBlanc, often picked into it with something like a barrier, trying to scale into damage later, but we have not seen a lot of Xmithie and Jensen working aggressively in the early game together to try and allow, some more control and some more movement that way. DoubleLift and Impact, as you guys have touched on, are both looking more for scaling.
My eyes right now are on the duos. As you already mentioned, Xmithie and Jensen have a really strong opportunity here to actually make a lot of things happen in the early game, whereas for G2, I feel like Wunder and Jankos need to be the duo that we keep our eyes on. The Irelia, they have a lot of options to play around her in the early game, and once you pick up things like the package, the ability of Corki to roam up towards the top side along with Jankos to try and get Wunder ahead is very fruitful, especially when Vladimir is at his weakest.
Well, a lot of early game decision making then, and of course we can see the coaches shaking hands as they step off the stage. Just to reiterate and remind everybody, there are 8 possible scenarios to round out today, and if Team Liquid win this game, they will guarantee that not only they advance to the semifinals, but that G2 Esports lose the 2nd seed. In order for G2 Esports to secure the 2nd seed, they need to win this game and then hope that Invictus Gaming take down SK Telecom later this evening. So there's a lot on the line for these two teams, Kobe.
Definitely.
That always catches me just a little off guard there, gentlemen. Just a little off guard as we jump into NA versus EU. Team Liquid versus G2 Esports. G2 lost that game to Fong Vu Buffalo earlier today. They are 0-2, and of course Team Liquid have taken them down 5 times this tournament. It has created this crazy scenario where G2 can lose their 2nd seed, but it's not over yet. We still have a full game to get through. And we need to see which team will get an advantage early on.
Now, with the compositions that we're seeing, there's actually a lot of scaling on both sides. You look at Team Liquid and you see the Vladimir in the top side, you see the Kaisa in the bottom. Arguably, LeBlanc, she does actually scale very well when she hits 3 items, and her ability to poke and threaten a potential one-shot is very high as the game progresses. Meanwhile, for G2, they have the...
Yeah, great point, Vedius. But Caps has a better one.
Caps asserting his dominance in the mid lane, I guess.
That is the best thing I have seen yet.
Man.
I wasn't expecting that at all. Well, you were touching on scaling though, Vedius, and Corki in the mid lane is a good source of that for G2. The general idea usually with Corki into LeBlanc, heading for that Trinity Force early on and having the burst damage to try and answer when she goes in with the distortion.
And of course, Caps, he managed to get
a little
caught. A little, booty wiggle there. He actually got caught on mic check, talking and kind of calling Jensen out a little bit back to Lissandra. So when I see a little bit of taunting there in the mid lane, it just reminds me of a couple days ago.
Yeah, there's always that extra edge of trying to play the mental game versus, EU versus NA. There's a lot that goes with these matches, and it's trying to have a little bit of fun with it.
We'll see whether or not it helps the matchup, of course, because as it stands, Caps is going to be pushing in the mid lane. Wunder's already getting some good trades onto Impact up top.
And I already early on want to draw some attention to the mini-map, because you'll notice that as a bit of trading happens in the mid lane, you'll notice that mid lane does in fact have priority, and the bot lane has priority as well, which has allowed the jungler to go from red immediately into the river to secure bot scuttle. This means that there's a lot of bot map control in favor of Team Liquid, and this will further allow CoreJJ and DoubleLift to continue applying pressure at these early levels. And we already talked about how they have this favorable matchup against a very safe defensive bot lane from G2. They can continue to scale up and be this big carry threat later on.
And of course, G2 looking at these matchups, very well aware of this. They placed that control ward that you could see, or not a control ward, the regular ward in the brush by the Scuttle Crab, so they saw everything happen. And Jankos, with the extra level lead, does take the Scuttle Crab before Xmithie gets there.
And of course, during the draft, Vedius, you were mentioning how you wanted to see Jankos and Wunder try to double team up and try to get some sort of advantages for this Irelia before the Vlad scale up. The wave pushed him pretty heavily. Jankos is now moving back towards his jungle as Jensen continues to push forward onto Caps. There's a little bit of a chase on, but with Distortion and Flash, Jensen will be able to escape a Summer Spell used.
And that's the big part about the matchup, right? LeBlanc always using the Distortion to play offensively. We just caught Jensen going in for the harassment, uses the full combo with Distortion. That's when you gank. Try and time your ganks right after the LeBlanc goes for a trade, because you won't have the extra escape available. And keeping up that chase, they actually get Jensen to burn the flash at the end. He does not want to risk getting flash knockup hit from Jankos. He does get the stop under tower, but they're both fairly low health. So we'll see if that even helps.
Oh,
dangerous.
That's a trade back and forth. First blood picked up by Xmithie in the 2v2. Now Xmithie's running from his life. Jankos gets the furious bite, but no reply.
What did I ask of them, Vedius? Xmithie and Jensen to work together. They do it here. At 4 minutes into the game, they're able to get the kill onto Caps. Jensen stopped the recall and then called Xmithie over to come by for the second trade.
And notice that Caps isn't running any defensive summoner spells. He chooses to go for the teleport. So this time around, when it looked like an over-aggressive play from Jensen, he converts it into a kill, knowing that his jungler is behind him.
Jankos hasn't left yet. I'm wondering if he's going to dive. Doesn't fancy it.
He might try and stop the back with a Prey Seeker. That's super high value if he knew where the recall was. Don't know if he actually had already shot it, but we'll talk about the positive side of teleport after this. So here it goes. Jensen goes in for the trade. He's got the Ignite. Xmithie gets there with the Flag and Drag Flash to finish off the kill. So there's no opportunity for Caps to flash because Xmithie preempts it and is able to get the flash himself to secure that knockup. But again, since you pointed out, Caps running this teleport, he teleports right back to lane, keeps up the pressure, is able to continue farming, and Jensen goes for that recall.
And crucially, the LeBlanc doesn't secure the first blood, which means that in terms of the 1-versus-1 matchup, Corki isn't going to be too afraid. The only thing that Caps needs to be scared of is the experience disadvantage, which is slightly compensated for thanks to the teleport.
Repeat gank here from Jankos. They're betting that Jensen goes aggressively again, but you need to save that distortion if you don't have vision, and you need to play to your strong side here. Really good pan by the observers. You can see the double control wards from Team Liquid on bottom side. That's the strong side we're referring to in this scenario that the LeBlanc should be helping.
Caught a quick glimpse there of Jensen stepping forward. Didn't find any damage onto Caps, though. And as is customary, almost every time Mickey recalls the first time, swings around middle, drops by, clears out one of the control wards, instantly replaced by CoreJJ. And no further setup. BF sword picked up for DoubleLift on his first back. PerkZ recalled and is running back to lane, so he's holding onto that teleport. He's got himself the Sheen and the Sapphire Crystal.
And those bottom lane teleports are actually very important in this game. This is an Infernal Drake first dragon spawn. So very, very critical as far as which team is able to get bottom lane pushing. You can see right now Team Liquid already trying to get deeper vision on this half the map.
Yeah, and Team Liquid are doing a fantastic job of it right now. They had the bot pushed in. Jensen got a beautiful trade up against Caps, and then he hit 6 immediately after. So given that Caps is only at 50% HP, the risk of an all-in is very high. So he's now forced to play even more defensively and cannot look to assist his jungler. So G2 slowly losing more and more control over the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, PerkZ is a little bit behind in CS. Sorry, Caps is farming a little bit ahead. +6 on the G2 mid laner, +10 on the TL bot lane. And of course, we saw the vision being pushed into that right-hand quadrant from G2 Esports. Multiple members of Team Liquid stepping forward is going to allow them to steal away this blue buff and continue to apply pressure on their strong half of the map and potentially start this Infernal if no one from G2 wants to.
Now, G2 are expecting this Infernal Drake to start, so keep an eye on the minimap once again. You'll notice that Wunder actually started roaming down. G2 are talking about a potential fight, but with no real information on what's going on and noticing that everyone is actually returning to their lanes, they said, okay, we're going to back off. Wunder, you can go back to top lane. We don't need to force a fight here.
And what just happened there, where we saw with the blue steel, as we pause here to see if Jankos will go aggressively, is kind of a consequence of G2 drafting the way they have in the mid lane and bot.
Well, Caps is dead. Exactly what you wanted to see, Kobe! Xmithie and Jensen working together to shut down Caps.
A repeat gank there once again. Caps goes down. Was the flash available? It is now.
But he, the thing that he wasn't expecting was that there would be a jungler right behind the chain securing a kill. The thing is, because he was locked under tower, once again, the flag and drag could set up for the CC, which was long enough to find that kill, and our Team Liquid can quickly convert this into the first Drake of the game.
And again, another big bonus of those control wards in the river, allowing them that gank path to set it up. Now they've got the objective on top of it, and this is a very big snowball from the bottom half.
Man, it is 1,500 gold lead, 2 kills, an Infernal Drake, and we're not even at 10 minutes on the clock. This is a fantastic start for Team Liquid, and the duo of Xmithie and Jensen are working together exquisitely. Jankos showed his face. He got the flash in the mid lane, but this is a replay of just how quickly Caps went down.
Yes, the chain has already locked him in place, so there's 0 chance of him getting out. And again, Xmithie comes over the wall from the control ward, so there is no vision. Just a nice play by the duo.
Want to keep referring fans' attention to the minimap because you have to keep your eyes on how much G2 is moving around the map. Caps has just picked up the package, and he was looking for a potential roam bot to maybe shut down the pushing DoubleLift and CoreJJ. Fortunately for Team Liquid, they had great vision already set up in the river, double control wards, meaning that a roam was very telegraphed, it was very well known, and no one ends up losing their life.
So Team Liquid off to a very good start, but G2 obviously we've touched on the fact that they do have very good scaling. Wunder has been pushing an impact a lot, but it hasn't accrued a significant lead. That minion wave will give them about a 6 or 7 CS advantage as Wunder farms under the turret. But teleports are coming back up for both Wunder and Caps. And if G2 want to make any proactive plays, they're starting to hit that point, levels and items where they want to.
Yeah, the items are critical for this team. This is a triple Trinity Force lineup that G2 have drafted. Irelia, Corki, and Ezreal all have the possibility of going this item. Yes, Ezreal can go with the Iceborne Gauntlet for the armor, but you know he is also facing double AP solo laner, so might want the extra burst damage of Trinity Force, and those spikes coming through are where G2 wants to actually take their fights.
And I completely agree with you, Code, because when we talked a lot about this team during the regular season, it was actually the 15-minute mark onwards where G2 really turned on as a team. That's when they really start to look to be proactive, and that's where we're expecting these spikes to come through, as Wunder's now the target.
Oh, take a look at that. Flash for flash. Wunder just gets dunked, shut down, and it's Xmithie once again with the roam.
And we talk about how G2 could potentially actually get to that mid-game point. Unfortunately for them, everything is falling apart in the early game. Xmithie is turning on as a jungler, finding 3 successful ganks and amounting in a very substantial early game lead for Team Liquid.
This already seems like Xmithie's best game of the entire tournament here so far. Now he's turned his eyes towards the objective, picking up Rift Herald for the team as well.
And of course, need to remind everybody of the stakes. If Team Liquid win, they guarantee themselves that 4th seed going into playoffs, and they guarantee that G2 Esports takes 3rd place. Meaning Invictus Gaming will get to choose NA or EU for their semi-final match.
And the thing is, for Team Liquid, is this is kind of the best kind of game that they could want versus G2, because the way in which they succeed the most is when the game is more slower paced, more controlled, when they get to take time to make their decisions. And with G2's composition, it's not sporadic, it's not skirmish heavy, it's not about crazy aggression all over the shop. And given that they found this early lead, they're actually set up for success as the game progresses.
Yeah, they definitely are set up for it. I think they still need to keep their eyes open. Mykix has just hit level 6 on the Tahm Kench, so more possibilities of those roams that you talk about are coming through. Jensen goes aggressive on Caps once again, and CoreJJ is the one this time with his back.
Yeah, Jensen didn't find the chains this time around. Jankos is going to step forward. Chilling Smite is enough to force the flash, and Jensen escapes with his life. Jankos held on to that Void Rush. I hear the Rift Herald has been summoned down the bottom lane as Xmithie, after helping mid and top, shows his face bottom. And just before the 12.5-minute mark, that bottom tower is going on. Jensen gets the solo kill onto Caps. Jankos finds one in reply with a Prey Seeker, but that was a solo kill for Jensen.
Awesome outplay right there, but it's cut so short by Jankos finding the counter kill. Bottom side, a little bit more action as Xmithie kills the control ward and backs off.
Yeah, G2 Esports clearing out that minion wave to mitigate the chances of a tower dive. With Jankos now roaming towards this bottom lane, Xmithie decides to back away, and I don't care if the celebration was short-lived. Jensen picking up the solo kill is what you want to see as a North American fan. CoreJJ starts to charge up the taunt, will actually not find a target. Justice punches away to safety, and this tower is getting so low. Oh, is this going to be a full fight? Just a trade for now.
Just some fancy Irelia moves, dancing around the minions.
All 3 of us hold our breath as we wait to see, like, does Impact go further? But no, not right now. Team Liquid content with the lead they've built up.
Let's see if anything comes of this dragon that's about to spawn here, because we do have a couple of recalls being synced up. Replay instead. Jensen. Okay, so this is the one where he sees Jankos go to the bottom side. So Jensen's probably aware that Caps is going to try and force something under the turret here. Caps forces pretty hard though, and Jensen taking the distortion back to dodge the big one missile coming out of Caps allows him to get the kill under tower. However, Jankos still there, gets over the back of the Raptor pit, and is able to get the assisted kill right back.
That replay was, depending on your perspective, is very different. If you're North American, you're like, damn, Jensen completely outplayed Caps there. Whereas if you're European, it's like, how did Caps miss everything? He didn't land a single skill shot, some fancy footwork coming out from the mid laner from Team Liquid as TL secure their first.
And the funny thing too is the gold difference isn't that big, because one of the kills is assisted, so you get an extra 50% gold basically. In the meantime though, that dragon is being taken up and it's going over to Team Liquid. Tower was killed on the bottom side as well, and this is a very good pace for them at 14 minutes. Fairly significant lead.
I think Team Liquid are playing this game beautifully right now. The fact that they've got this kind of a lead with a composition that's right now is gearing very much towards team fighting. You have a Kaisa that's already completed the Stormrazor. The Vladimir has gone very even with Wunder in laning phase. After falling at an early deficit, he's come back very nicely, and they're kind of setting themselves up to be in a great position to fight around these neutral objectives.
Now, both sides have hit that first item power spike. Stormrazor for DoubleLift, Ludens for Jensen, Protobelt for Impact. On the other side, Wunder's got himself the Wit's End, Trinity Force for Caps, and that Iceborne Gauntlet for PerkZ. So G2 Esports have got a little bit more power to play with, especially with Caps running around with the package. But at a 2,500 gold deficit, G2 Esports cannot afford any more mistakes. Team Liquid have the ability to close a game out when they have a lead, and G2 right now are making mistakes, so they are being punished by very good plays by Team Liquid.
Honestly, we talk about G2 being punished, but to me it just feels like TL are actually making very good proactive moves. Like, a lot of the decisions that they're making are just very clean, and the execution is very good. So a lot of props needs to go to Team Liquid, where the pressure feels on and they're living up to it.
All right, Caps now gets jumped on once again. The dunk comes out, devoured by Mickey, buys enough time. CoreJJ arrived as well, so a couple of ultimates used, and just the Devour to escape to safety. That's a good sign for G2.
That's another one of those aggressive looks you're talking about there, Vedius, where Team Liquid continually looking for plays. This time around, really good dodge from G2 to avoid the big Galio ultimate cooldown.
While I'm looking at the siege in the middle lane, Impact swapped bottom. He's pushed that wave all the way up to that inner turret. And Caps is there to catch it and respond. PerkZ now parked off in that middle lane, and he's going to be on wave clear duty for now.
Team Liquid have beautiful control across the entirety of the map right now. They have knowledge that there are 3 members of G2 in the middle lane, which means that they can send 2 members up through the top side jungle as Team Liquid is pushing in the top lane and start to get this deeper vision. Wunder is forced to back off because he has no information on his half of the jungle, and this means that another tower will go in favor of Team Liquid.
Yeah, Wunder really wants a 1v1 with one of the AP solo laners. He's invested it into the wit's end. He does not have a very good chance versus the duo lane of CoreJJ and DoubleLift, so they have to give up another turret here on the outside.
It just extends that gold lead even further. 2 dragons and 3.5k. Xmithie will get chunked out by Caps. He's going to use the Valkyrie forward. Mickey decides not to chase. Throws out the tongue lash, and there's no follow-up from the rest of G2. Instead, defensive teleport from PerkZ, who's now joined the middle lane with that mana immune picked up. Trying to channel that up towards the Muramana, and the Mountain Drake is just a couple minutes away.
All right, so G2 now should be, spreading out into their 1-3-1 with the Tahm Kench protecting Ezreal in mid lane. Their big problem is they don't have early game pressure. Usually at this point in the game, you want to be pushing those out and being able to get the advantage past the river here. Whoa, PerkZ goes in aggressively with Mykix there.
All right, Jensen throws out the chains. The Blast Comb will buy some time. The rest of Team Liquid trying to chase up. That's a very good True Shot barrage. Gonna get Jensen very, very low. PerkZ continues to chase forward, looking at the minimap. Wunder's coming from the mid lane, but there's simply not enough to chase further.
Wunder gonna join the rest of the team, and this will actually give G2 some priority through the bot side river. Unfortunately for them, the Dragon is still 1 minute away, so they can't look to grab themselves another objective. But the one thing I will say about G2's comp is they do actually have a lot of poke. With the Corki and the Ezreal, when Team Liquid try to set up for an objective, G2 can sit in these pockets of darkness and just throw these bits of damage out over the wall and look to try and chunk Team Liquid down.
Oh man, Jankos is already gone. Xmithie's found him. DoubleLift dunked him. That's yet another kill. 5 on the board, 4 of which Xmithie's been involved in.
That is going to be more control for Team Liquid to move into the jungle.
Oh, they're going to chase forward. Caps and Mickey fancy themselves some damage in reply. Wunder's up in the top lane. He's got teleport available to him. Team Liquid are pushing. 45 seconds until the next dragon. They've got pressure in the mid lane. They've got Caps potentially flanked, and this could be a tower dive. This could become a 4-on-1. Caps has got Flash and Valk available. He's already flashed, now he's Valk. Ignite is ticking down. Here comes Impact. Protobelt forward. That should be enough to take out Caps. The pop goes down. Impact gets him. Vanguard's Edge buys some time as Wunder's forced to run for his life. Now Xmithie gets out, and PerkZ goes down as well. I didn't even see Jensen find the kill, but he gets another.
Where did this team come from? Team Liquid looking completely different from the rest of the tournament here. They have turned it up to 11.
All right, Abyssal Voyage comes in from Mickey. He delivers Wunder into the jungle. Jankos needs to run for his life. Flash is still available to him. Flashes away, gets tagged, bursts down, but not killed just yet. DoubleLift doesn't have an ultimate to chase. Team Liquid own the rift, and they are pushing G2 off.
Beautiful execution coming out from Team Liquid right now, and it is the members of Jensen and Impact that are making these fantastic plays. The players, Impact, while having a great tournament, has not converted those leads into carry performances, and Jensen and Xmithie have been the primary controversy for this team, but right now they're looking fantastic, and they're looking to upset G2.
I agree. I think that's the biggest point there. Xmithie and Jensen have continually made these really big offensive looks, and they are paying off. Here is another look at the tower dive. Xmithie actually this time getting the knockup onto Caps, and the Ignite goes down. Impact says, I will finish the job. Dives right in there with the flash. Then on the backside, PerkZ actually gets ignited and queued by Jensen. That's enough to burn him down.
It was just a really beautiful dive and a bit of disrespect coming out from Caps when we saw the minimap in that replay. There was no vision or pressure anywhere on the map for G2, and the mid lane tower should have been the expected target. So the fact that Caps stuck around, Team Liquid were very happy to just punish that.
5,000 gold in the lead for Team Liquid. 2-0-4. Xmithie's Jarvan, it was the first pick on the blue side. He has been everywhere this game and truly is leading his team to this advantageous position. Now, of course, I want to take nothing away from the rest of the squad. Jensen is having a phenomenal LeBlanc game, and especially up against Caps, who has been a player that has sort of had Jensen's number this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the scoreline, Cap 0-4-1 right now. He's definitely made some greedy plays, and Jensen has absolutely punished him. Right now, the only thing G2 are waiting for is scaling, but even then, we already talked about it. Impact on the Vladimir, DoubleLift on the Kaisa. This team knows how to utilize this composition, they know how to team fight, and they're a smart team that can set up for objectives cleanly, as they're doing right now.
Grouping up, challenging the Vision around Baron at 21.5 minutes, pushing Vision deep into G2's jungle. It is being contested though. As you can see, multiple members of G2 pushing forward and using all of their abilities to poke and push TL away.
But I love that our observers highlighted the Vision difference, because you can see how far back G2 are pushing.
Oh, no ways! Xmithie solo kills Caps! 0-5-1. But Xmithie made that work. Black Cleaver, as well as the Cinder Hulk, just to dunk him and use the whole combo.
Xmithie is popping off right now. Black Cleaver has just been picked up. He feels that he can confidently shut down Cap, and he does so exquisitely.
Team Liquid certainly looking to end the group stage strong here. They are making such a showing 22 minutes into the game, and they're taking down the secondary turret on top side.
Earlier today, the casters were talking about when you watch some teams playing, all of a sudden other regions become fans of teams they might not normally be fans of. Right now, SK Telecom are saying praise Team Liquid. They will be getting second seed. Flash Wolves will be praising G2, hoping they can come back. Because if Team Liquid win this game, Flash Wolves already eliminated, G2 will place third. And of course, Team Liquid will guarantee that fourth seed. So this is the full solo kill.
Yeah, just sitting in the brush, waiting for Caps, knows that there's no flash here, follows up the Valkyrie there with his own ultimate, and finishes the job.
Yeah, clean. Nothing more to say.
Beautifully done, and that's why Team Liquid are just in a phenomenal position. 6,000 gold up now. They continue to apply pressure on G2, and look, for G2, they've still got the ability to scale into this game, but it just doesn't feel like they're going to be given the opportunity. Team Liquid have been starting and ending plays, getting advantages every single time.
The biggest thing for Team Liquid now will be how they play around the Baron, because they'll want to secure that objective. They have a pretty good composition to take it. It's just a matter of whether they will be able to secure it cleanly. They do have a tendency that when they have the lead, Baron is usually a very easy objective for them to take because of how well they set up Vision in the enemy jungle. The question is, will they be able to do it against the G2 team that often doesn't stick to the playbook?
And the G2 team, as you pointed out earlier, do have quite a lot of long-range poke abilities at their disposal. Currently, they're fighting in mid, though.
They are indeed. Teleport's coming out. Xmithie's got the Cataclysm available to him. Mickey buys some time with a stopwatch, and PerkZ is forced to run for his life. Hemoplate might just be enough. Not going to kill him just yet. Now in the back line, Wunder's already dead. There goes Mickey. Jankos is running for his life, and Xmithie follows the flag and drag with the flash. Manages to find Jankos. He continues to run for his life, as at least there's one kill back for G2 eSports. But Jankos goes down. Now Caps trying to get another. DoubleLift cleans it up, and only PerkZ remains.
PerkZ is the only one left standing, so that means Baron is on the table. Team Liquid are looking to take a victory over G2 here at MSI. It's gonna be delayed though. No Baron started up.
It looks like they're not going to take the gamble. They don't want to run the risk. They're waiting for the health bars to come back. They're waiting for the teleport from DoubleLift. He's going to go back to base, spend his gold, pick up a couple extra items, and they're going to look to secure this big objective.
Rapid fire cannon completed along with the Storm Razor and the Rain Blade. It is too little, it is too late, and the observers giving false hope to all European viewers watching. G2 eSports went from controlling second seed to conceding it by giving away 2 losses to Fongbu, and right now being obliterated by Team Liquid.
So here we can see G2 trying to catch CoreJJ out of position, but the Galio, pretty tanky at this point in time. It buys enough time for Xmithie to join the fray, and a beautiful flash dive from Impact onto the backline. Wunder, I don't even think he got... Oh, he did ultimate, but he did absolutely nothing with it. He's just lying on the backline, slowly getting killed off. Jankos is trying to deal with Jensen, but the entire Team Liquid squad is just so coordinated in their target focus. And now they've found another target.
We're back, and DoubleLift is on a rampage. 4-0-1. As we come out of the replay, Xmithie once again, 12 out of his team's 13 kills he's involved in. Impact is now looking for a 1v1 that's become a 1v2. Impact goes into Sanguine Pool. Caps is running for his life. So is Jankos. Impact has turned this around. With Baron and now Xmithie showing up, Caps and Jankos are in trouble. The bottom lane is being sieged and broken. Inhibitor turret is being attacked, while Impact and Xmithie take mid now.
And with Wunder still dead, 15 seconds left on his death timer, Baron buff at the command of Team Liquid. They can continue pushing into the base.
Oh, this is for the semi-finals. DoubleLift will open up G2's base at 25.5 minutes. Caps gets chunked down by the Captain Rain. Impact is pushing into the mid lane as the rest of Team Liquid are dancing between both lanes. Jensen will get a couple extra autos and leaving that Baron empowered cannon minion to do its work. Now all of a sudden the W from Impact will buy some time. He protobelts forward. Impact will not go down. Buys enough time. Jankos is already dead. Finally a stun and Wunder gets one back. The Hourglass bought so much time for Impact, but there goes Jensen. Manages to get the AoE. I really thought more was going to happen.
Looks like you lost your ability to use words there. Quick shot. Good stun comes out from Wunder, but the damage has already been done from Team Liquid. They broke into the base on the bot side. They haven't slowed down yet.
Whoa,
goes in.
DoubleLift finds PerkZ, blows him up. Killer instinct into a Cathian Rain. The inhibitor is still standing in the bottom lane, and now the focus is the middle. DoubleLift step forwards, auto after auto. Those plasma stacks are melting through Mickey's HP bar. Grey health has already been popped. Small amount of regen, but it simply isn't going to be enough. 27 minutes. 4-0-10 on Xmithie. He's the hero that is starting everything, but DoubleLift with 3 items is finishing everything.
Love that Team Liquid didn't back off from that play. They took a step back, they take a minute to reorganize, and then they continue with the aggression, knowing they still have the Baron buff, knowing they can still fight for this inhibitor, and they secure the objective.
All right, let's take another look at this.
We'll take a look at
we'll have a look at this right now. As Impact, he's forced to use the Zhonya's early on, but it's simply a matter of baiting G2 in as they find that initial kill onto Rek'Sai. And this is where we see Corki is forced to go back to base. Team Liquid take a second to readjust themselves, and then they continue with the siege.
Impact's play has got something caught in my throat here as Team Liquid dive in onto PerkZ. DoubleLift taking that ultimate. Killer instinct indeed, right into the base. Team Liquid want their spot in the knockout stage, and they want to earn it themselves.
Oh man, earlier today, Team Liquid had a valiant game against SK Telecom, and now they are smashing G2 eSports. G2 5-4 coming into this. They lost to Fongbu earlier today, and now it feels all but inevitable with an 11,000 gold deficit that they will be knocked out of that second seed. And what a fashion to do so. G2 is defending now. Inhibitor in the bottom will be the focus of at least 4 members of Team Liquid. Jensen is coming in from the mid lane, and Caps is sitting on the package. So that Valkyrie could be beneficial, but the truth is there are so many squishy members in G2 that if a fight breaks out, I feel like Team Liquid can just kill them before anything else happens.
I mean, just look at Jankos, only just now hitting level 13, and he's going up against level 15 DoubleLift, level 16 Jensen, level 16 Impact. Just the level differences alone is enough to melt through G2, let alone the item.
And there's 2 GAs on the side of Team Liquid. The Hourglass sitting inside Impact's hands. Caps is getting a couple autos off, and look, all credit to G2. They're holding on to this inhibitor. The Caps is going to use that package defensively. Try to put down the wave clear. There goes Xmithie. Here comes DoubleLift. His killer instinct in. That's the first kill on PerkZ. Impact will be finishing us up. That's a triple for Double. He's looking for the quadra. Maybe a penta. Not going to be enough just yet as Impact is taken out into the fountain. Caps and Jankos go. It's a 5-on-2. Team Liquid, surely they've done it. That's a dash forward. Here comes the rest of Team Liquid. Caps goes golden. Nexus turret falls. Caps flashes away to safety. CoreJJ's going low. He's taken out by Jankos. Jensen gets one in reply. It's not done yet as Caps is trying to get the damage out. The Nexus turret is broken, but with a GA and a fed Kaisa, DoubleLift and Team Liquid advance to the semi-finals, eliminating G2.
What a turnaround for Team Liquid. On the final day of group stages, they show up the biggest. Big performances from all members, but Xmithie, what an improvement. Absolutely dominating the early game. And then with the draft of Kaisa, Galio, Vladimir, amazing team fight to end out the game. If they win early game with this composition, they are gonna steamroll ahead.
4-0-15. He was involved in 19 of the 20 kills that Team Liquid were involved in, even getting a solo kill down on 2 caps. Exquisite performance from Team Liquid. They executed upon their draft beautifully. And most importantly, Kobe, the Xmithie Jensen duo. They found that early lead and they ran away with it.
And of course, the question I have to ask from earlier, yes, earlier today against SKT, Team Liquid just kind of rolled over. They actually didn't do a whole lot. This game, extremely proactive from minute 1, everywhere on the map, and they make opportunities. This is the Team Liquid that has to show up in BO5.
At the last possible second, Trevor, the fire has been lit.
Well, we'll have to see what they can do. For more on how Team Liquid picked up that win, let's leave it to State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, QuickShot. We'll hear from DoubleLift in just a few moments. But first, we have to talk about that victory for Team Liquid. Redemption from last year's MSI when they had control of their own destiny, weren't able to push it forward. This time around, they take it before even having to play a tiebreaker.
Big sigh of relief. Woo! Feels good. And I'm so happy the way they did it, avoiding tiebreaker, avoiding having to play again, going in off a slump of going 0-2 on the day, bouncing back, beating one of the other regions that was top 3 regions, like picking up a win against someone above you in the standings, which they hadn't done yet. All of that makes it feel so much better for North American fans.
And I think a big bounce back performance. They hit it on the cast there. The fact that they fell down against SKT and just looked like they had no proactivity. The changes came in from the coaching staff. They set them up for a brilliant game, but the players ultimately delivered in a massive way.
And one of the questions we had was, which team would bring more baggage from their losses earlier today? And TL rolled over against SKT and then came in with a style and were confident. The moment I saw the Ezreal Tahm Kench and just the fact that they were feeling a little bit defeated, I felt like G2 play best when their chests are puffed out and they're so confident in just how good they are. And I just didn't get that vibe here.
Because let's not forget, this was a European region, a G2 squad that was ready to claim the second spot. You know, globally, they'd taken down SKT twice, but now the fact that they've dropped games against Fongvu Buffalo 2 in a row and the now Liquid loss makes fans and, you know, analysts going to start questioning the validity of that statement that has been made throughout this tournament.
G2 locked into 3rd now, TL picking up 4th, but I want to reference the draft point because on the side of TL, they've done what we finally asked for. Prioritized a champion for Xmithie that gives him agency in the early game, and he utilizes it to perfection, getting Jensen specifically ahead.
Well, it's what we were saying at the top of the day, the fact that sometimes Caps does blow up in laning phase. And, you know, this was not him just griefing or anything like that. TL played very well. Nice counter gank here to set this up.
At the end of the day, you're watching players like the First Blood here, and you feel like Xmithie is ahead of the play and his mechanics are on point. You can say that about none of the first 9 games of the tournament for him. But here, with that agency, with, like you say, not just a level 6 jungler, he comes up in a big way.
Yeah, and Jensen as well, saying he'll carry DoubleLift out of groups. Had a monstrous performance. Just jukes 3 out of 3 skill shots out of him and kills Caps underneath his own turret. And that was kind of the last gasp almost that we saw out of G2. From no point on after that did they feel like they were in control.
And just as a small point, you know, I mentioned no player was looking confident. I thought Caps was. He was trying to make things happen, but it was kind of notable how when I watched G2 domestically, if Caps is getting caught, other people are making the plays because, of course, Xmithie's not in their lane. It didn't feel like that here, so Caps was almost an anomaly in how G2 played.
It's like what you said, like who learned correctly from their mistakes? Okay, no more Hecarim, let's pick J4 for TL. And then for G2, our bot lane died a lot in the mid game. Let's pick the safest thing possible. And that was probably the wrong lesson because now DoubleLift has a free laning phase and got a 70 CS lead.
And that was the thing that impressed me, right? It was everywhere on the map. Impact on Vladimir had a good performance, and then their bottom lane popped off. The fact that DoubleLift and CoreJJ had their standout performance against G2. And just the ability to generate such a huge lane lead. They took the turret with a Rift Herald and were able to rotate around the map, always in the play in that mid-game position. You know, Kaisa and Galio are very good at joining these fights, and they utilize them beautifully.
Those are familiar numbers for NA fans domestically when it comes to TL and the bot lane. So it's good to see them generate those same kind of numbers here on the international stage. And I feel like, Mark, midway through that game, we started to see DoubleLift kind of fall into his groove. Gets a solo kill here, outplays a skill shot there in a team fight, and a little bit of that confidence starts to creep back in.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, like you said, NA fans are used to seeing. And you could tell that that was not who was on stage 2 days ago. It was not that confident DoubleLift. It's been the DoubleLift we've seen at International before, where he falls onto the back foot, and it took a little bit of time to ramp up in this game, and maybe it's just item power spikes for Kaisa. But later on, he started making really aggressive plays.
I mean, when the jungler gets ahead, like this happened in this game, it just all slid into place, right? It felt like everything that you prepared based on domestic TL was capped off from Xmithie getting so far ahead.
We've been leveraging criticism at both Xmithie and the team for putting him in hard places so far in the tournament, but this 10th and final game of the group stage, MasterCard player of the game for Xmithie through and through.
And let me tell you, as a jungler, if you can sit there and just whack a mid laner to death one-on-one, you feel pretty good. But it was also the cerebral plays coming out, the reads, the predictions, and the ability to catch people out of position. Very well played.
In the same game, he pulled off an EQ flash for first blood and a prediction on a Corki flash. Like, this is just Xmithie playing at the highest level. He went the electrocute, and then we saw the Cinderhawk. That seems a little bit scattered, but it allowed him to do a bit of everything. And the moment he got those early kills, he said, I want to be a tank, start turret diving, and the good times will roll.
You usually need to commit your goal to one thing. I want to one-shot people. I want to be a tank. He got so ahead, he could commit to both and solo out the mid laner and be the front liner.
With our knockout stages locked in 1 through 4, I want to kind of take stock of where the teams are, because I think, interestingly enough, in contrast to the way we've been talking about, in particular, G2 and TL this entire week, they're only one game apart in the standings now. And so I think, for so long we've been down on TL, and in a sense for good reason. But here they are now making their way out of groups on their own volition and sitting only one game behind G2.
I mean, it was one of those things where the front page of Reddit a day ago was like literally every other top team's opinions on why TL is bad. And then suddenly, it's like, okay, well, they beat a top team. They're clearly the 4th best team at this tournament now. And it's like, why was it so negative and so positive for some of these other regions when they aren't that far behind, it feels like?
And look, a large portion of it is because you haven't been able to get it done against the teams better than you. That's what North American fans are waiting for, that huge upswing. But I think what they're leaving behind is that consistency factor, the ability to perform, and the fact that these guys are veterans, and I keep saying it, I think they have ramped into the tournament, and they haven't been given enough credit for that. So I don't think this is the best TL we've seen. I think that, they're going to continue to build towards the best of 5.
And the final small point is like the manner of the victories, with innovation and things like that.
Although that was a stomp.
Agreed. This was a great game. I just made that G2 kind of beggars belief and kind of redefines the game when they're fully on board. In their losses, TL have also kind of rolled over in some games, but you see games like this and you just kind of look back and say, what a great job done by TL.
Team Liquid lock a knockout spot. Shox is standing by to hear from the victorious ADC.
Thank you very much, Dash. I'm here with DoubleLift after Team Liquid does it. They advance to the knockout round, and DoubleLift after so many years. What does it mean to you to make it to the knockout round of MSI and of an international tournament?
Well, ignoring the fact that we just kind of squeaked by, by one game, it feels amazing. I don't know what to say. Everything that I did and everyone that I interacted with my whole career, all the things that happened, it led to this. So I just feel really grateful. I don't know, the first thing that I thought about was just wow, all that time I spent on CLG and I couldn't do it. All that time I spent on TSM and I couldn't do it. All that time I spent raging at my teammates on Team Liquid and we didn't do it. And now we finally did it and it feels worth it. So I feel peaceful right now. I feel really happy, but also really peaceful.
Absolutely. Huge congratulations. You talk about all these things have led up to this, the being angry at your team when it didn't work out. And you told me even yesterday, it's about that decisiveness. I don't know where it is. It was all in this game. So what happened? What clicked? And how did it all come together right in time?
Well, I think, we had a really weird journey throughout groups where we thought oh, wow, we need to up the aggression to the level of IG and G2 and stuff, because that's how teams are winning. And we thought we need to basically play their champs, but not their style, just kind of play sort of loosely in a resemblance of them, but Then after we got smashed by SKT, we were like, that doesn't work. Like, we still have to do like Team Liquid plays, I guess, like the stuff that we've been practicing. Even if I would say like some of the plays that SKT is looking for and IG is looking for is stuff we would never realize. And so trying to like be a crappy imitation of that is kind of the wrong way. So we went for, you know, like Team Liquid style, which is buff invade, heavy dragon control, and really just choking out their mid laner because Jensen's really good. So I think, I don't know, in the middle of that game, I was like, oh my God, Jensen's popping off. Like, I need to stay calm because if I throw this game, I'm going to be really, really depressed for the rest of my life. So I was like, yeah, it was just a really good game from us.
Yeah, it was an insanely good game. Tell me, does it feel just a little bit sweeter because it was NA versus EU?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it could have been any more perfect. Like, NA versus EU, it's been a while since I've won against EU. So that feels amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Is there anything you want to say to anyone of your choice? Of course, your fans that have been supporting you for so long, but also maybe your teammates and everyone in the Team Liquid camp.
Yeah, just like, I want to thank everyone that I've ever talked to and, you know, everyone that I ever like struggled with as a teammate and as a player, and everyone that like kind of stuck with me through my failures as a person, as a player, and all the fans who, the same thing, like how disappointing for 7 years I can't do something. It's really, really easy, but I finally did it. So thank you guys. And, you know, hopefully we'll crush it in the knockout stage. Yeah.
I mean, I do want to follow up because we need to get our feet a bit back to earth. Now, you know, you got this, but you owe it to everyone to step it up even more in those knockout phases because, you know, it was an up and down group phase. So, you know, what's next up on the dockets? You do have a couple of days. You said in the beginning, we're going to win. How much has that wavered? How are you going into those knockouts?
You know, I think there seems to be a huge, to the outsider, there seems to be a huge gap between us and the rest of the teams because our score sucks. We're like 4-6. But in reality, it's not true. We just have like some mental stuff going on with our team. But really, I think our team is really good. And I know just like being realistic, we have to step up to win in the next rounds. But when we get going, like we really do get going, I think the problem is it's getting going. Our team has a really slow start. So I think we're just working on that, and we will level up for knockout stage. We have to.
Okay, fantastic. Looking forward to it. Congratulations, Peter. Team Liquid makes it to the knockout phase of MSI after a fantastic game, but we have more left to come.